Hello, my name is Huba Kellerman. This is Andrew. He's here to help me do a dude flow. Andrew, why don't we start in child's pose today when you're ready, facing towards to that beautiful tree. We're in a beautiful Franklin Canyon this morning, and the weather condition is really nice, just in between seasons, end of the spring, tipping into summer. So we're getting a little cool breeze and just, flowers are blossoming. Very great time to initiate a change. So I love starting in child's pose. It's just a great pose to connect back to Mother Earth. The forehead is usually touching the ground and the arms are straight out in front of you. The palms are flat and the fingers spreading wide. On each inhalation, the center of the heart will move energetically towards to the thumbs, and on each exhale, the tailbone and the sits bone sink down towards to the heel. So really, each breath cycle is a chance to get a little bit of an elongation on the inhales and a little bit more extension from the back body to the tailbone on the exhales. Just one more round like that, Andrew. Big inhale. A little friction at the back of the throat. Nice. On your next inhale, come on up to tabletop pose. Hands and knees. Lift your butt off of your heels. Bring the knees in a little bit closer. And let's just flow through some cat-cow stretches. Inhale will be the cow pose. Exhale, cat. The belly button kisses the spine. And just a couple of more at your own pace. Great way to move and warm up the body. The most important thing is to move according to your breathing. So really lengthening the inhales for a movement and then waiting for the exhale before initiating the other one. Gonna take one more round like that. Inhale and round. Press the palms, knees down. Nice. And then find a neutral spine. Tuck your toes under. Lift your butt back. Come to downward facing dog position. So really spread your fingers wide. See if you can press down through your index finger and your middle finger. That's where most of the grounding comes from. And the heels are just sinking effortlessly towards to the floor. If you're having a rounding in your upper back and your middle back, maybe you can't see that, or you cannot see that obviously, but if you feel that, you can just put a little bit of a bend into your knees and focus on lifting your butt back high towards to the sky and pressing your armpits back towards to your knees. That should give you some length. And once you got all that length, you might try to sink your heels down again. So bring a little bit more length in there. See, you already got it. That looks great. Now on your next inhale, come into a plank pose, top of a push-up, and just see if you can hold it here for 5. So Andrew is a strong guy. We're gonna take a practice that focuses a little bit more on strength today. 3, keep those thighs lifting towards to the sky. Keep the back of the neck nice and long for 2, and then pull your hips back, downward facing dog. And let's just walk the hands back towards to the toes. Nice. And then grab your elbows, take a forward fold. So feet about hip width apart here, and the elbows are getting really, really heavy. There is a sense of a rounding here in the upper back and the middle back, so the center of the chest actually draws towards to the tailbone, but then the hips are lifting up high. Heels continue to press down. The deeper the roots, the higher the branches, so applying that same concept to this one. Take one more inhale there, and then exhale, put your hands onto the floor. Good. On your inhale, pull your heart forward, so find a flat back, hands can come up to the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, feel free to press the palms against the shin bones, get some length. Exhale, drop your head. Good. One more time, inhale. Now stay here, put your hands on your hips as you exhale. Inhale, root down, rise up all the way to stand. Float your arms above you and hook your thumbs. So you're creating a chain out of your thumbs. Spread your fingers wide as you're ready. Push up to your toes and lift your heels off of the floor. Now, very tempting to pop the front ribs here. Very tempting to curl the tailbone out. See if you can actually tuck the tailbone under and soften the front ribs more. And if that feels pretty good and pretty solid, you can maybe look up towards to the sky to add a little bit more challenge. All right, let's take one more breath here. Heels down, forward fold. Put your fingertips back onto the floor. Good. Inhale, lengthen up halfway, pull the heart forwards. Exhale, plant your palms, bend the knees, climb back to downward facing dog. Lovely. And on an inhale, ripple forwards to plank position again. Lower halfway down to chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, push back up to plank position. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do that twice more. Inhale, come forwards, plank. Exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale, push up, plank. Exhale, hips to the sky, downward dog. Last chance. Shift forwards, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, push up, plank. Exhale, hips high, downward dog. Wonderful. Now bend your knees very slowly. Walk your feet up all the way up to your hands. Try to keep your hands on the floor. If you need to, you can come up to the fingertips at some point. Nice. And now let's interlace the fingers behind the tailbone. You're going to lift your knuckles off of your tailbone. Bend the knees a little bit. Let the neck get soft. So Andrew has a lot of muscles around his shoulders. This isn't necessarily an easy pose for him. So if this happens to you, just bend your knees a little bit more. Technically, you could put a strap in between your hands. We don't have a strap with us today, or a towel. That might make it a little bit easier. And I let the fingertips trickle back down in front of your toes. And bend your knees a little bit. Inhale, glance your heart forward, and exhale, step your left foot back, way behind you. Now let's put that left knee down onto the floor. Put your hands up onto your right thigh. So hands on your right thigh, and see if you can back yourself out of the pose. Draw your belly back towards to your spine, and one arm at a time, take your arms nice and wide, like you're holding some silver plates in your hands. And as you're ready, reach your arms up skywards. That's beautiful. Great alignment. So this pose is called Anjaneyasana, or the low lunge. Same idea in the arms and the side ribs as crescent pose or warrior one pose. Take just one more inhale here. As you exhale, reach your left arm forward and your right arm back. Take a twisting lunge. Keep the arms reaching away from one another. So there's lots of length in those arms. Imagine that somebody's grabbing your wrist and pulling your arms away from one another. Nice. Now see if you can put your right hand down onto your left leg. Sweep the left arm back. Look up towards to your left thumb. Maintain a soft quality to the pose, soft quality on the face. Lovely. Put your left hand down to the inside edge of your right foot. Tuck your left toe under, lift your left knee, take your right arm up towards to the sky, the twisting lunge. Yeah, the outer hips are still hugging in, and the top of the head draws forward, just a very straight line in the left side of the body. Take one more breath, and as you exhale, put your right hand down on the floor. As you inhale, quietly step to plank position. Good. As you exhale, shift forward, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Untuck your toes, curl up into the cobra, the palms are squeezing. Exhale, touch your chin to the floor. Tuck the toes under, inhale, push up to plank. And exhale, lift your butt back, downward facing dog. And maybe a longer exhale out through the mouth if that feels good. Nice. And then bend your knees, start walking with your opposite foot all the way up to the hands. Just take a couple of steps. Breathing into the backs of the legs. Glance it forward and fold forward. Let's say chair pose just for a change. Bend your knees deeply and reach your arms forwards and up. So the knees are actually drawing back and away from the toes. There's so much weight in the heels that the toes could wiggle if you want to. Take one more inhale there. Push up to stand. Draw the hands to a prayer position. Center yourself. Nice. Just the arms. Inhale. Reach up super high. Put the opposite thumb to the top. And let's push up to our toes again. So this is the second time we're doing this. A little bit more focused this time perhaps. Tailbone keeps moving down. Front of the hip bones keep drawing towards to the lower ribs. Take one more huge inhale. Heels down, fingertips to the floor. Fall forward. Uttanasana. Inhale. Glance your heart forward. Exhale, step your right toes way behind you. Put your right knee onto the ground and climb the hands up onto your left thigh. Start by pressing your palms down and away from you so you can draw your belly in and find a beautiful space in your body. Then the arms reach out to the side like you're holding trays of gold, and then arms reach up to complete that pose, Anjaneyasana. Elbows are very, 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 very straight. Each exhale, the hips sink and move forward just a little bit, and each inhale allows you the chance to add a little bit more length. Beautiful, Andrew. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, the right arm reaches forward and the left arm reaches back, and you're welcome to look towards to the side wall, as long as that feels good on your neck. Keep those arms reaching. Keep the breath very, very calm and deep. Let the left hand find your right thigh. Reach the right arm skywards. Look towards to your right thumb. Keep those hips nice and evened out. So try not to lean too much to the left or too much to the right. Everything's very neutral. Love it. Right hand down to the inside edge. Tuck the right toe. Lift the right knee. Take your left arm up to the sky. Twisting lunge. One of the more accessible poses. Anybody can do it. My grandmother could do this pose to some extent. So don't be shy to try and practice along with us. Take one more inhale here. Put your left hand down. Exhale. Inhale, step to the plank position. Exhale, lower down with absolute control. Inhale, curl up to the cobra position. Shoulder heads roll. Exhale, touch your chin and tuck your toes. Inhale, push up plank, belly button draws in. Exhale, downward facing dog. So these are called the reverse vinyasa. After the cobra pose, you come back to the chaturanga position, so you have the chance to do a push-up, strengthening your arms, your pectoral muscles, your core muscles, and your thigh muscles. Let's lift that right leg up to the sky, Andrew. Three-legged downward dog. And then keeping the knee where it is, just pull your right heel towards to your butt cheek, right butt cheek. So you're bending the knee, but keep the hips closed for today. So turn that right hip down and pull the heel in a little bit more. Good. Now shift the plank and pull your right knee to your forehead. Good. And step your right foot down next to your right thumb. Very, very good. Keep your right hand on the floor. Turn your left heel sideways. Nice. Take your left arm up towards to the sky. Side angle pose. So Andrew is up on his fingertips, and the right fingertip. Technically, you could use a block, but he's doing pretty well with it. But if you do use a block, which he did very wisely, you can actually lean into the block, and that probably gives you a little bit more support. I really don't have much to say. This is actually very, very impressive. Back leg is very strong. As you guys can see, that right hip is not jolting out. That's so common. And he's got just this beautiful space across the collarbone. Everything looks very, very open. Now see if you can turn this into triangle. You're just going to press your right leg straight. You could turn the block up to one setting higher. So why don't we use the block? Yeah, that's it. And the top of the right thigh rotates forward. The big toe side of the right foot is pressing down. The inner seam of the left leg actually rotates back towards to the space behind you. And a lot of times it's a common misunderstanding that the left hip is moving into an external rotation. It actually turns down towards to the floor a little bit. Good. Let's come up to warrior two. Bend your front knee, sit a little bit lower. Reach those arms away from one another. This mat is getting a little bit warm. Are you okay? Lead with the heels of the hands. Good. Now point your fingertips towards my way. And bring your right arm to the bottom, left arm to the top, and find your eagle arms. Yeah, that's it. So the elbows are actually lifting, the palms are moving away from your face, and the shoulders are dropping down. This is just an incredible way to peel the shoulder blades off of the back so you can breathe a lot fuller into your back body. See if you can bend your front knee a little bit more. Keep those outer hips nice and tightly hugging towards to the midline. Good. Next inhale, open your arms back to warrior two. Sink a little lower as you exhale. Inhale, take it into the reverse warrior, big breath. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, hands to the floor, lower down, keep exhaling. Inhale, Cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, touch your chin, tug the toes. Good, downward facing dog. Drop your head down low and keep that breath moving through, just very smooth, very even. When you're ready, lift your left leg up behind you. So we're keeping the hip in a neutral rotation, just very simply keeping the knee where it is. Bend your left knee, pull your left heel to your bum. Good. Shift forwards to plank, knee to the nose. Step that left foot next to your left thumb. Turn your right heel sideways. I'm going to put the block right next to Andrew's left foot. You can have your left hand there. Take your right arm up. This pose is especially challenging for men because we are very tight in our hips. But if something's challenging, most likely that's good for you. Do what scares you in order to achieve and in order to break through. Might be a nice motto to live your life by, within reason, obviously. Okay, triangle pose as you're ready. Just press that front leg straight. Maybe use the block just for the sake of this video, so the friends that are practicing with us could get a good idea of what's happening. The top side of the waist could get a little bit shorter, so a lot of times we focus on popping this rib up just because it kind of feels good, but you could kind of develop overextension on that side, so lengthening the bottom armpit forward could be always a nice idea. And then warrior two, bend that front knee, reach back. Good, and Andrew is using the heels of the hands, a lot of times energy like Bruce Lee when he does that 1-inch punch, right? He punches with the heel. That's where the energy flows. Reach the fingertips right out in front of you. Bring the left arm to the bottom, right arm to the top. Find your eagle arms. Front knees bending nice and deep. The inner thigh of the back leg is on flames. Shoulders still soft. Nice. Inhale, warrior two. Open the arms. Wait for your exhale here. Get a little deeper in the hips. Take it into the reverse, biggest breath of this class yet. Chaturanga Dandasana, carefully hands hit the mat and you lower down slowly. Inhale, every molecule spreads as wide as imaginable. Any way you like to transition, downward facing dog, the head is dropping low. Lovely. Let's walk the hands back to the toes. Let's come to the back edge of our mats. Slide the hands up onto your hips. Draw your elbows towards one another. And on an inhale, rise on up to stand. Bring the hands to prayer, close your eyes, and just take 3 of your fullest, richest breaths. And anything that just happened, fade into the past. Good. As you're ready, flutter your eyes open. Put your hands on your hips. Take your right heel against your left ankle. So your right thigh will actually move into an external rotation. That would be stage 1 of tree pose. Stage 2 is sliding your right foot up against your left inner shin and bring your palms to a prayer position. If all that is working fine, you might reach down and grab your right ankle and pull the heel up against your left inner thigh and bring the palms back to prayer. Make sure you're squeezing the outer thigh and the heel together. If you still feel good from here, you may take the fullest expression, which would require you to reach your arms alongside of your ears. Should feel very similar to a plank position in your body. That means the front body is hugging in. And now point your right knee forwards. Straighten your right leg in front of you if you can. And put your right foot down on the floor. Okay, let's see how that works on the second side. So start by putting the hands on your hips. Left heel, right ankle. Stage 1, just very, very focused. Stage 2, you step the foot against the inner shin. Palms to prayer. Still feel good. Reach down, grab the ankle, slide the foot up. Immediately squeeze that right outer thigh and squeeze the heel against the inner thigh. And one side might not be exactly the same as the other side, so being patient with yourself. Remember, the quality of the pose isn't as important. Eventually it is something we are aspiring to improve, but first and foremost, the goal of yoga is to quiet the mind. It's a tool for meditation. Take 2 more, your fullest, richest breaths, finding the fullest expression here. If possible, keep those arms where they are. Point your left knee forwards. Straighten the left leg. Beautiful. Put both feet down on the ground. Pull your hands back to prayer. Nice. Let's walk up to the top edges of our mats. Toes a little bit closer together. Take chair position. Bend your knees. Reach your arms towards to the sky. Exhale. Take a forward fold. Empty your lungs. Nice. Now, inhale. Glance out healthy. And as you exhale, step your left toes way behind you, coming back into a lunge. And let's come up to crescent position. Take your arms up towards to the sky. So we've done Anjaneyasana, where the back knee was on the floor. Crescent pose is the same thing, except the back knee is off of the ground. Let the side ribs get just a little bit longer. Let the tailbone dip just a little bit lower. Maybe look towards to the hands. Take 1 more inhale. And then plant your hands down on the floor and step to plank position. Lower slow to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale. Never rushing your practice. Cobra, up dog, the toes, the fingers spreading wide. And downward facing dog position. Butt cheeks kiss the sky. So I know Andrew has been practicing jumping forward. See how that works today. If you don't mind, see. Bend the knees deeply. Inhale, look forward, step or hop the feet. That's really good. Glance out halfway and fold as you exhale. Bend your knees, take chair position again. Reach the arms towards to the sky. Push to stand. Hands to prayer pose. So this is a slow sun salute B from the Ashtanga series. Chair pose again. Inhale, reach your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look forwards, lengthen. And step your right toes way behind you. Outer hips hug in as you're ready. Crescent position. Arms reach to the sky. Traditionally in Ashtanga yoga we do this with Warrior 1. I prefer crescent pose, a little bit easier on the hips, a little bit more focused because there's a little bit more balance, a little bit nicer on the back, just for me personally. Alessandro, take 1 more inhale. Hit the bricks, Chaturanga, lower slowly. Inhale. Enjoy that back bend. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Very, very good. Put your knees down onto the floor. Come back to hands and knees position. And take your left leg straight behind you. So left leg. And keep the left toes off the floor. Nice. Lean into your left palm. Reach your right arm forwards. Okay, keep the back of the neck nice and long. Hug the belly towards to the spine. Take a longer inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze your right elbow and your left knee together. Inhale, reach it long. Exhale, squeeze it deep. Inhale, reach it longer. Exhale, squeeze it deeper. 2 more times. Inhale, the right thumb faces the sky. Exhale, pull it in. Last time, inhale, reach it up. And exhale, pull it in. Inhale, lengthen out everything. Good. Now, keep the left leg where it is. Put your right hand on the floor. Put your left toes on the floor. Keep your left knee lifted. Turn your left heel sideways. Lean into your right palm. Take your left arm up towards to the sky. This is a modified Vashisthasana. So we started the practice with some bigger standing poses, and we're just modifying these additional poses that sort of help you to find just a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more access into the pose without having to focus too much on your balance. See if you can circle the left arm towards to the floor, just a half circle, and as you reach that top arm forward, pause. Find that diagonal position. Yeah, so when your left arm faces that way, Andrew, pause it and hold it right there. That's it. Now the tricep will rotate towards to the face, so the thumb actually faces to the sky and the pinky finger goes towards to the ground. Soften your front ribs and draw that right armpit towards to the left just a little bit more. Soften the left shoulder even more. So this is an extension in the top arm. It's a modified side plank in the bottom part of the body. Take the left arm up, inhale, and put your left hand down. So Andrew, left arm up, and left hand, left knee down. Good. Take your left arm and thread it underneath your right armpit. Bring the side of the head to the floor. So as you can tell, the practice has a nice arc, kind of like a pyramid. We start out slow. We sort of ramp up to some bigger poses, maybe even a little bit of cardio. We added some push-ups. We added some twists. We added a standing pose, that crescent, to strengthen the legs and to sharpen the focus. Not even talking about tree pose, which requires a lot of focus and balance. Nice, and then press down through your right hand. Come back to hands and knees. Now listen to this. Walk your hands about a foot and a half forward, out in front of you. And put your forehead onto the floor. Keep your hips hovering over your knees. This is called extended puppy position. Incredible stretch on the shoulders, incredible stretch on the armpits. So Andrew, from here we're going to come into swings pose. Put your elbows down, push your knees forward, lie down on your belly, and slide your elbows forward just a little bit more. Good. Spread your toes nice and wide. Keep those shoulders soft, leading with the heart space. Good. Put your forehead on the floor, slide your palms back to a plank, a cobra position, and then inhale cobra, and make your way back to downward facing dog. Oh, that was a super modified vinyasa. See, you can go from hands and knees to puppy to the swings, and no excuses for you to skip the practice. There's always a way to do this in a very friendly way, to suit your body type and your mood and your level of energy of the day. Let's put the knees back down again. Right leg goes behind you, straight. Right toes lift off of the floor, wrist underneath the shoulders. The left arm will reach forwards. Not sure why they call this the sunbird pose, but this is a sunbird pose. Or sometimes I heard it called spinal balance. Keep the back of the neck long. On your exhale, left elbow, right knee squeezes. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, squeeze it deep. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, squeeze it deeper. Last two. Inhale, reach long. Squeeze it in. Inhale, reach long. Don't let me rush you. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, reach long. Keep the right leg lifted. Put your left hand down. Put the right toes down. Only turn the right heel flat. Lean into your left palm. Take the right arm up. So we're only doing a half circle. You're circling the right arm down. It's just to position the shoulders. And as your right arm reaches forward on that diagonal, pause. Turn the left chest open. Turn the left ribs open. Nice. You got the hand positioning. And the right shoulder softens though. That's the trick. See, you don't want to get all emmed up and worked up. You want to feel energized and you're working hard without you stressing yourself out. Cool. Right arm up to the sky. Inhale. Right hand down on the floor. Exhale. Right knee down as well. Take that right arm, thread it underneath your left armpit to take cat twist. It's one of the first yoga poses I remember taking. I was like, oh my God, how come I have never thought of this? So extremely simple. And when I did this pose, I was like, my shoulder feels so nice. My abs are getting this massage. It's also a health inversion. The head is technically below the heart, so you're encouraging blood flow through the brain. Let's press down through that left hand, bring it back to tabletop position. And once again, climb your hands a foot and a half out in front of you. Take that extended puppy pose one more time. Nice. Let's come back to Sphinx again. So look forward, bend the elbows, lie on your belly. Walk the elbows a little bit forwards more. Now listen to this. Pull your right knee to your right elbow. Yes, and thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. Nice. Swing your right arm back behind you and pull your right hip back towards to the wall. And so this is just a very simple recline twist. We sort of entered it through the back door. It was really through the front door, but a different way. We usually go into it from lying on our backs. Okay, keep your right knee where it is. Just come back around. So you're going to lie on your belly. Good. Make a pillow out of your hands. Yes, and look towards to the left-hand side, which is technically tree pose in the legs. But now you actually have the ground supporting your knee. It's just an amazing stretch on the inner thighs. Cool. And then let's come back to Sphinx position. I have a surprise for Andrew and for you. So walk your elbows forwards a little bit more. So your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Make your palms really flat, tuck your toes under, and come into forearm plank. We're going to be here for 30 seconds. You can totally interlock your fingers, if that helps you. Keep the back of the neck long, keep those thighs pressing to the sky, keep the belly button hugging in, keep the toes pulling towards to the elbows. Everything hugs to the midline. You only have 15 more seconds left. Remember, mind over matter. People who hold this for 4 hours and 25 seconds or minutes have less muscle than you do. 5, 4, 3, 2, Sphinx position, drop the hips. Draw your left knee to your left elbow. Thread the right arm underneath your left armpit. Take the left arm behind you and allow your left hip to draw back. So you might notice when you want to try to come into this pose, your left hip is going to kind of get really close to the floor, and you're going to have hard time to bring your left shoulder onto the ground. So if that happens, you have to let your left hip move away from the ground. So left hip stacks on top of the right. Just remind yourself, bring both shoulders onto the floor. Spread the arms. Stunning. Keep the left knee where it is. Lie on your belly. Make a pillow out of your hands. And look so the left knee stays. Andrew, pull the left knee back. Yeah, and look towards to the right hand side. If you're lucky enough, a friend may come around and put a little pressure onto your left thigh. Maybe even throw a sandbag on your body. Very, very relaxing. Really finding ways to release tension, finding ways to create balance in your body without you having to deal with a hangover or intoxication. Such a beautiful practice. Now straighten your left leg, slide your hands into a cobra position. Let's take the last cobra of this class. Inhale, press down. So put your chin back to the floor a moment. Slide the hands back more. Yeah, now take cobra. That's it. Good. And then child's pose. Just roll over your knees and pull your hips down to your heels. Cool. So I'm going to remove Andrew's head because this next pose is not going to be good for him if he has his head. What I'd like you to do is slide your arms down by your thighs so your palms face towards to the sky. So straighten your arms back. No, back behind you, towards to your toes. Good. Now, good. Now lift your hips off of your heels and roll to the top of your head. Yes, that's it. No, keep your knees on the floor. Good. Send the arms back down where they were. You can keep the hands on the floor. Good. And just take a couple of very gentle circles on the crown of your head. That's it. Try to hit more the crown rather than the front. So the very top of the head. Yes. See, a lot of serotonin, am I pronouncing that right? Mm-hmm. He's releasing some of the dopamine, oxytocin, all those feel-good hormones in the brain. That's it. Come back to child's pose, put the hips back down. Nice, and then come back to hands and knees. Climb your knees forwards a little bit more. You're going to cross your ankles behind you and have a seat. Good. You want your head back? It's called Dude Yoga, so we're wearing hats to make sure you don't misunderstand the dudeness of it. Bring your right knee towards you, squeeze it in. Nice. Let your right knee fall down onto the floor to the right. So this is tree pose in the legs. Take your arms up towards to the sky, draw your belly in, take a quarter turn to the left and forward fold. Yeah, so the palms could be flat on the mat, and you're drawing the heels of the hands back while you're drawing your heart forward. The left toes are pointing back, thighs pressing down. Really good. Come on up. Use your right hand to lift your right knee. Straighten your right leg. Squeeze the left knee in with your hands. Let the left knee fall down to the side. So you're going to reach your arms up. A quarter turn is just enough so that your sternum is in line with your right leg. And once that happens, you go into the forward fold. Beautiful. And so you can really take advantage with your grippy mat. Press the hands down. Pull the hands back, draw your heart forward. Again, if you have a strap or a belt, you could potentially use it. Well, I'm not a huge fan of props just because they could be distracting, but by all means, you could do that. Nice, and then lift your torso, pull that left knee in the middle. Straighten your left leg so both legs are straightening forwards. And scoot yourself forward a little bit. We're going to lie down onto our backs. Yeah, lie down. Good. Bring your knees in towards you. Andrew worked up a pretty good sweat. It's also pretty much noon at this time. We're in California, so we're getting a lot of sun. So already flattening the back out here. Let's just take one bridge pose to even the spine out. Put your heels on the floor. Lift your hips up. Very good. Shoulder heads roll underneath the shoulder blade. And you don't want the knees to splay out. As a matter of fact, since we have this block, I'm going to ask you to squeeze into this block. Yeah. And that's actually a great use of a prop. Just sort of makes the alignment a no-brainer. If you're squeezing into that block, your body pretty much has to do the right alignment. Nice. And send your tailbone forward. Bring your hips down onto the floor. Okay, Shavasana is coming very, very soon. We're going to lift the hips up one more time, Andrew. Take this block and put it underneath your sacrum. You can take it the middle way, you can take it the high way, you could stack two blocks on top of one another. I love this pose. This is called a supported bridge position. To make this a little bit more exciting, we're going to turn this into Viparita Dandasana, which is a modified shoulder stance. So if you're really wobbly on the blocks or you're using a crate, you can always grab the block or the crate with your hands. We're going to draw the right knee towards to the chest, straighten your right leg up to the sky. Keep the right leg where it is. Do the same thing with your left leg. Okay, so grab the block if the block is not steady. Okay, it's pretty steady for him. I'm also here to give him some support. Okay, remember, this is a restorative pose. You can have your eyes closed. Make sure breath is deep. How we doing? Yeah. Last two. Softly bend the knees, put the feet back onto the floor. And now last thing here, see if you can stay on a block and straighten your legs forwards. The heels of the feet stay on the ground. Can you straighten your legs out in front of you? Yeah, but keep your feet on the floor. And then straighten your legs out in front of you.
Then what?
So without lifting your leg, straighten your leg forward.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, so this is a supported Urdhva Dhanurasana. If you would have your palms by your ears and you would have your arms straight, that would be the full back bend. This is a very similar pose. It gives you that arc. Beautiful preparation, more of a restorative one. We're not gonna take it there, Andrew, just because it's been kind of a cooling down moment from this one. Just rebend your knees as you're ready. Lift your hips up, slide the block out from underneath you. Very, very good. Put your hips down onto the floor. Bring your knees back in towards you. Give yourself a squeeze. And we'll just finish with a final twist. Take your arms nice and wide into a T shape. Let your knees drop over to the right. The knees are heavy. Shoulders are heavy. And just remember to keep the side ribs long so that top hip moves down and away from the armpit. So Andrew has some really, really good elements. With persistence, he could become an incredible yogi. So as you. Your next inhale, knee into the middle. Drop it over to the other side. Look over towards to the right hand. We're even hearing some sounds. Bones are popping into place. And just remember that every day is a yoga day. Persistence and consistency is at the heart of mastery or success or victory. Bring those knees back into the middle. Squeeze the knees in with your hands. Pull your forehead to your knees. Take the biggest inhale of this day yet. And exhale like a petals of a flower. Open the arms. Open the legs for Shavasana. Just making sure your body isn't touching anything that's unnecessary. Blocks, straps, clear those out of the way. And stay for as long as you wish, 5, 10, 15 minutes. If you have the luxury of taking a nap, that could be beautiful. Thank you so much for Andrew. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. If you have any questions or requests, leave them in the comment section below. Namaste.